Commander Jathek's three eyes blinked in rapid succession as the translation matrix finally decoded the ancient human signal. The Valkyrie delegation had traveled 14 light-years to reach this desolate corner of the galaxy, following whispers of a civilization that claimed to have seeded the stars themselves. Such claims were common among primitive species, but the archaeological evidence scattered across 12 systems told a different story. "This cannot be accurate," Jathek muttered, his vocal sac vibrating with uncertainty. His first officer, Clara, adjusted the holographic display, her scaled fingers dancing across the control interface. "I've run the analysis 6 times, Commander. The chronological markers are consistent. These human structures predate our oldest known civilizations by at least 40,000 cycles." The command chamber fell silent except for the gentle hum of the ship's quantum engines. Around them, the Valkyrie diplomatic vessel hung in orbit above Earth's moon, a blue-green jewel of a planet that seemed impossibly vibrant compared to the sterile worlds the Valkyrie called home. Humanity had been a puzzle since their discovery 3 years prior. They possessed technology that shouldn't exist: faster than light travel, matter manipulation, dimensional folding, yet their historical records suggested they'd only achieved spaceflight within the last few centuries. The Galactic Council had dismissed them as scavengers, a species that had stumbled upon ancient technology and learned to use it without understanding its origins. But the evidence before Jathek painted a drastically different picture. "Show me the Mars excavation again," he commanded. The hologram shifted, displaying a massive underground complex buried beneath the red planet's surface. The architecture was unmistakably human, yet the dating placed it at nearly 60,000 years old. Similar structures had been found on Europa, Titan, and 3 exoplanets in neighboring systems. Each one predated the rise of every known spacefaring civilization in the galaxy. "There's more, Commander," Clara said, her voice carefully neutral. "We've detected similar signatures on our homeworld. Deep beneath the crystalline wastes, in geological strata that formed before the first Valkyrie walked upright." Jathek felt his secondary heart skip a beat. "That's impossible. Our world is 17,000 light-years from Earth. Unless humans were there first." The implications crashed over him like a tidal wave. Every schoolchild in the galaxy learned the same history: the Valkyrie were the first, the pioneers who had discovered faster-than-light travel and spread civilization across the stars. Dozens of younger races, the Heptari, the Morlacks, the Crystalline Collective, all owed their advancement to Valkyrie guidance and technology. But if humans had been spreading across the galaxy tens of thousands of years before the Valkyrie even existed as a species? "Establish a connection with the human diplomatic vessel," Jathek ordered. "Secure channel." Minutes later, Ambassador Sarah Chen's face materialized in the hologram, her expression professionally pleasant. She was young for a human, barely into her 3rd decade, with dark eyes that held an unsettling depth. "Commander Jathek, to what do we owe the pleasure? I thought our next meeting wasn't scheduled until tomorrow." "Ambassador Chen, I'll be direct. We've been analyzing the archaeological evidence you've provided, and I have questions that require immediate answers." Sarah's smile didn't waver, but something flickered in her eyes: recognition, perhaps, or resignation. "Of course, Commander. What would you like to know?" "Your species claims to have only achieved space travel 300 years ago, yet we've found human structures that are 60,000 years old." "We've found them on our homeworld, Ambassador." "Explain this." The silence stretched for several heartbeats. When Sarah finally spoke, her voice carried a weight that seemed to age her centuries. "Commander, what I'm about to tell you is classified at the highest levels of human government, but given your discovery, the Council has authorized me to share the truth." She paused, gathering herself. "Humanity didn't discover faster-than-light travel 300 years ago. We rediscovered it." Jathek leaned forward, his translator struggling to keep up with his rapid-fire questions. "Rediscovered? From whom?" "From ourselves," Sarah said softly. "Commander, humanity has risen and fallen multiple times across galactic history. The cycle spans roughly 50,000 years. We expand, we thrive, we reach unimaginable heights of technological and cultural achievement, and then..." She trailed off, pain evident in her expression. "Then we fall. War, plague, cosmic catastrophe, the cause varies, but the result is always the same. Civilization collapses, knowledge is lost, and the survivors rebuild from almost nothing. The structures we've found are ours. From previous cycles. We've been doing this dance for at least 500,000 years, Commander. Maybe longer. We've seeded the galaxy dozens of times over. Clara couldn't contain her shock. Then the technology we use, the science that underlies our civilization. You learned it from ancient human ruins, most likely. The Valkyrie homeworld was one of our earliest colonies in the previous cycle. When we fell, we left our technology behind. Your ancestors found it, studied it, and eventually learned to replicate it. The same is true for most spacefaring races in the galaxy. Jafik felt the foundations of his understanding crumbling. Why? Why would you hide this? Sarah's laugh was bitter. Would you have believed us if we'd told you from the beginning? A species that barely controls its own solar system claiming to be the progenitor of galactic civilization? You would have dismissed us as delusional. She leaned closer to her own display. But now you've seen the evidence. Now you know the truth. Humanity wasn't just the first power in this galaxy, Commander. We've been the only power, over and over again. Every other species is building on foundations we laid millennia before they existed. But you're so young now, so primitive compared to us. For now, Sarah agreed. But we're rising again, Commander. Faster than ever before, because this time we know what we've lost. We've found our own ruins, recovered our own history. And this time, we're determined not to fall. Jafik stared at the human ambassador, seeing her and her entire species in a completely new light. Not scavengers. Not primitives lucky enough to stumble upon ancient technology. Humanity was the ancient technology. And they were waking up.